What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo states that I don't get the respect I deserve. I guess in the pound for pound, you gotta be liked. Jermell Charlo has been boxing's first fully unified 154-pound champion for 7 months. His most recent bout, a 10-round knockout of previously unbeaten Brian Castano on May 14th, was one of the fan-friendly fights of 2022. The Houston native also has avenged the one loss he has from Tony Harrison by knockout in the 11th round. Very good knockout. The 32-year-old Charlo still feels he hasn't shown the overall level of respect he deserves. The IBF, the WBA, and the WBC and the WBO champion explained his position Tuesday during a virtual press conference to promote his fight against Tim Tszyu on January 28th. He said, "What I possess is just undeniable. It's just I'm very thankful. I'm not even high-horsing myself up. You know what I'm saying? I walk around like a normal person that's very humble at the end of the day because, we all come to fight. We all come to win. Much respect to any boxer getting in the ring. But I just know that I'm different. I'm different from anybody that's in the top pound for pound. I don't get the respect I deserve, and I keep that energy. You know what I mean? And I float that way through this without me getting the respect I deserve. That's why I'm still in the game. I made millions of dollars in boxing, multi-millions of dollars in boxing. So we ain't worried about that. We ain't worried about a bunch of things. What they got on their mind is completely not the same as what I got on my mind. Simple as that. I guess in the pound for pound, you have to be liked, and you got to be on the other side of the road or the river. You got to be with certain people. I fought on ESPN when I was younger, coming up in the game, and made it to pay-per-view and made it to different shows and did so many amazing things outside of boxing. I don't know what you need to do. I don't know who needs to be writing this stuff, but I almost guarantee just those people get a personal way that they feel about me, and I'm not here to make you happy. I got a woman to make me happy. I ain't here to make y'all happy or make no boxing reporter happy." Those are the words of Jermell Charlo. Let me counterpunch. Obviously, shout out to Jermell Charlo, the undisputed super welterweight champion of the world. Okay, of the world, Craig. Right? And he feels he doesn't get the respect he deserves. That's why he said he's still in the game. Let me counterpunch. I think if Jermell Charlo, honestly, I mean, if he really cares about being pound for pound, you got to take out the pound for pound fighter. And fortunately for him, what Jermell could do something that he probably wouldn't do. Okay? And that's either fight your friend and stablemate Errol Spence, or take on Terrence Crawford if that fight doesn't happen. Why? Because Terrence Crawford is regarded as pound for pound the best. You don't have to be liked to be pound for pound. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with your resume. Now, if we look back at Jermell Charlo for a minute, he kind of got the shitty end of the stick. How? Well, the guy that was supposed to boost his notoriety, to boost his name, to boost his fame, was supposed to be Jared Swift Hurd. I've seen personally with my own eyes the rivalry that was brewing between those two guys and their peoples. In Brooklyn, New York, at the Barclays Center, 2017, Lara versus Goucher was the headliner, and Jermell Charlo and Jared Swift Hurd were both fighting other guys. And their entourage went berserk. Okay, I mean, they literally lost their shit fighting each other. And those guys almost got into it 2 or 3 more times, in other instances, in other events, other venues. I mean, about to throw down, fist fight and everything. But what happened to those guys? Just like it's an Al Heyman curse, people. Those guys that's supposed to be building up this big fight without just getting it on, lost. Jared Swift Hurd got beat by J. Rock Williams, and he got upset by Tony Harrison. Facts. That's what happened. So both of those guys that were who they were, okay, were not anymore. Even though he avenged the loss, that fight with Jared Hurd didn't happen, simply because I think Jared Hurd ended up moving up anyhow. You know, and if they would have kept winning, they would have been on a collision course to each other, towards each other, okay? Like a train and a Mack truck, boom! But it didn't happen that way. So that's really, unfortunate for Jermell Charlo. That's why Jermell's kind of like, And then, of course, the draw with Brian Castano in the first fight kind of had everybody side-eyeing and scratching their head at Jermell anyway, because a lot of people thought that he lost. And given the fact that he was so happy and incur in high spirits, because he probably, something inside him probably knew, like, damn, that was a close fight. You know what I mean? I could have lost that thing. I'm glad it was, a draw, but he did avenge it in the second fight. So he is, I regard as the comeback kid, okay? He is the Keanu Reeves of boxing. You make a shitty movie, you make a hit. You make another shitty movie, you make another shitty movie, you make another hit. That's how Jermell Charlo is doing in his career. But if he really wants that respect, though, honestly, if he really wants it, he knows what to do. And if he don't know, I'm going to tell you. Fight Terrence Crawford or beat up Errol Spence, which I doubt he'll fight Errol Spence because they're too close. They got the same trainer. We've seen that situation happen before. I doubt that'll happen. But if he fights Terrence Crawford and beats him, at least he will be doing everybody a favor. He'll be doing Al Heyman. He'll be doing Errol Spence. He'll be doing Gervonta Tank Davis. He'll be doing a lot of people on that side of the street justice, simply because they can't stand Terrence Crawford because he was the guy that went with the right white promoter and wasn't the right promoter. Bars. So I think that, in a nutshell, will solve that thing. If he could be the Terrence, the TC solver, he could be looked at as best pound for pound because he's already undisputed. Okay? He has one loss. That doesn't have anything to do with it. So is Canelo Alvarez. He had one loss and he was undisputed. He was good, regarded as best pound for pound. Okay? Yeah, he had the money behind him, but who cares? Right? This is pound for pound. Right? This ain't about the money. This ain't a money competition. Right? So I think Jermell Charlo, though, I think that he needs to fight the guy to be the guy. That's it. Simple. And if he really cares that much about it, he needs to really hype up that fight, start talking more shit about Terrence Crawford. And if that fight and when that fight does go belly up, because I think what happens with Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, just like Eddie Hearn said, Terrence is not going to sign with PBC with Al Heyman because he wasn't impressed with the way they did business over there. So let's just keep it real. So that's not going to happen. All right? It's not going to happen. What's going to happen is maybe he'll fight Jermell Charlo for undisputed. Okay, and if he could do that, he could be undisputed again because it's Terrence Crawford to be undisputed in two different weight classes, just like Alexander Usyk wants to do with Tyson Fury, in his career. So I think that Jermell Charlo should do exactly that. You guys tell me what you think of Jermell Charlo saying that he doesn't get the respect that he deserves because he's not liked. Please subscribe, and you guys been Counterpunch. Peace!